Hello and welcome to the Voice of Diaspora, Diaspora'nın Sesi. Today we have representatives from the Rauf Denktaş Turkish School. I will be hosting our special guest Erden Teoman, who is the chair of the Rauf Denktaş Turkish School, as well as Meryem Biricik, who is the school coordinator. I shall be asking the questions to Erdem Bey in English and to Meryem Hanım in Turkish. So let's get straight into it. Erdem Bey, welcome to the Voice of the Diaspora.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Good.
As we know, we're currently under the pandemic and everyone is working from home. But before we get into the whole pandemic situation, I just wanted to know, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the Turkish school as well?
My name's Erden Teoman. I've been the chair of Rauf Denktaş Turkish School since just under a year. Previous to that, I was the treasurer under a different committee, but that committee disbanded on our last AGM, and myself, along with 7 other parents and members, formed a new committee to keep our school going because there was a possibility of it unfortunately closing down. And I'm sure many people are aware in South London there's not many Turkish schools as far as I'm aware. It's just ourselves in Blackfen, Rauf Denktaş Turkish School, and Dr. Fazıl Küçük in Catford. So it would have been a great shame if we was in a position where we had to close. So thanks to the committee, we kept the school alive, and it was going very well at first. We brought up the numbers quite considerably compared to the previous years. However, unfortunately, in March, as the whole world knows, the pandemic struck us, and it's left us and I believe a lot of Turkish schools in a not a position where we'd like to see ourselves in. We was fortunate enough to be able to continue our lessons online. However, we found that a lot of parents didn't really adapt to the online learning environment as well as we'd hoped. So, we saw numbers drop in relation to that. But we still carried on until I think it was June. And then we had the obviously end of term and we started the new year. We was fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to actually open our school to the public, but as many Turkish schools weren't in that position due to the fact that their administrators were charging anywhere of upwards of £500 a day for cleaning fees. However, our school, we've been with them for many years, they didn't demand that of us. However, we did have to complete a very detailed and in-depth risk assessment, which had to be approved by the school, the committee, as well as the education attaché. We managed to do that, and we held our registration event. And then, unfortunately, the moment we was due to open, we got put into tier 3, and then so it never came to fruit, unfortunately. But hopefully we will be in the position to be able to open again soon. However, I just want to assure people that when that does come, all safety measures will of course be taken, and we wouldn't want to put anybody in unnecessary danger, or any of ourselves or our staff or our kids. But we found that online is just unfortunately isn't the same. How can I put it? It's just not the same as being able to meet your community face to face and have that Turkish school environment and socialize with people. And obviously, even when we do open, the socializing aspect of it won't be the same for a while. However, at least the kids can be next to their teachers and be taught in that same classroom environment. It's just different than online. However, we've got great teachers who are great at their job, and they still are very much capable of teaching online. But we found that a lot of our parents just couldn't adapt to it for some reason, and we just wanted to also assure them that should we have to remain online, obviously the quality of the teaching is still there, but we do understand that it's not the same. So hopefully the whole country will be in a position where we can start to socialise a bit more, and then without putting anyone in danger.
Yeah, no, thank you for that in-depth analysis of your school situation. I was actually going to ask you, as a follow-up question, how the pandemic has affected the Turkish schools. But yeah, that's quite in-depth actually. I mean, I can think back to when I went to Turkish school, and you're right, the social element was really important. But I think if we can just maybe take the second question further, because you said that the parents are having issues in regards to adjusting, and perhaps you could use this opportunity to just give us some detail as to how the Turkish schools, specifically your Turkish school, what kind of platform are they using, and how can parents adapt to this new type of learning?
Okay, so we was the education consortium organised and facilitated a platform called Web TV. It was, I believe, introduced by a Turkish businessman, given to all schools to use free of charge. However, we did face quite a lot of technical difficulties with it, unfortunately, and I think that was one of the reasons why a lot of the parents from our school, at least, were put off by the online, because of the teething problems that we faced initially in March.
Mhm.
We've done a lot of research into other platforms that we could use, and we've listened to our parents as well from this particular year, because we've got a lot of complaints of the connectivity issues they were facing. So we've gone with Zoom. We trialled it out last week, and it was very successful. But the only thing with Zoom is for it to meet the sufficient safeguarding needs of, safeguarding issues, you have to use the paid version.
Mhm.
Um, so that's just one downfall of it. But I mean, as long as the quality of education and the parents are happy with it, we don't mind paying, a little premium to facilitate that, because at the end of the day, Turkish schools, I believe, are one of the pillars of our society, especially our community. There's not many places, especially in South London, where you can get that sense of proper Turkish community like it is in North London. So Turkish schools in South London, is, in my opinion anyway, are even more important to our community, just to teach the kids our culture and our values and sense of community, and keeping our language and culture alive.
Of course.
So we've gone with Zoom. However, we are also a registered charity, so we don't have unlimited funds, and where we have been closed for such a long time, one of our main sources of income was the canteen. And obviously, we've been without that canteen. You still get your teachers' fees that you have to pay, your insurance, all of these things. So, um, yeah, it's just a very unfortunate situation, and we would have liked to have some official support, should I say, but we obviously understand that these are unprecedented times, so that everyone's literally going on. Um, no one was expecting this to happen, basically. So we understand that we couldn't have expected full support straight away. However, that's the situation we're at the moment. We've got people that are reluctant to sign up online, and I'm afraid that just puts Turkish schools in general into a quite a bad predicament, because if we don't have students, we can't function as a full-fledged Turkish school. And if we was to lose even one Turkish school in the country, it would be devastating to our whole cause. Like there's not, as I said, there's not many other places in South London where you can have that sense of community. But that's unfortunately where we're at the moment. And then it's also difficult that we need our textbooks, but our textbooks get sent to the Elçilik in North London, and it's very difficult in these times to go and get these textbooks. So we're having to email students paperwork. It would, in hindsight, it would have been good to be able to facilitate some sort of courier service to deliver these books to our students, because it's not feasible for people to be printing out 300 pages on their home computers, and it's a colossal waste of paper when this has already been printed. So these technical little difficulties that we all face, I guess it's unavoidable, but it's a shame, but we're getting by. We're just hanging on to the hope of being able to open.
A lot of these teething problems which you're having are not unique to your Turkish school either. Many organisations throughout the country are facing similar obstacles as well. But obviously, we're almost a year in now, so I'm curious, what are your plans for the immediate future?
So for the immediate future, as I said, we've sorted out our teething problems in relation to the connectivity issues by signing up to Zoom. Our plans for the immediate future, going from the government's recent announcement that London will be in Tier 2, will allow us to be able to open our school doors again. So that's our plans for the immediate future, to be able to return to some form of normality. There won't be any socialising from the parents coming into the school grounds. We'll have staggered times, but it's a move in the right direction. We've invested heavily in PPE and other safety measures. I think we've spent nearly over £1,000 on all of this equipment to ensure that our community gets the education that they deserve, but at the same time, the safety that is paramount. So our plans for the immediate future is to open as soon as possible in the safest way possible, and give people some sort of sense of normality again, even though it won't be anything like it was before. I think this would be our best hope. Other than that, what we have actually thought of as a committee is to start offering online adult Turkish language lessons for our parents, because what we found is a lot of people from the UK, British Turkish Cypriots, myself included, our Turkish language isn't that great. And we want to send our kids to Turkish school, and I send my niece there. However, 1 or 2 hours in Turkish school isn't going to make you fluent in Turkish, so it's good to be able to speak it at home as well. But when the parents don't know Turkish either, it makes it difficult. So we thought that by offering online adult online lessons, we can encourage parents to brush up on their Turkish as well, and in turn help their children study more effectively.
Excellent. And what kind of level would the parents need? Some basic knowledge of Turkish, or?
So this is what we're trying to iron out. We're trying to gauge interest. So if anyone is interested, please do message us on our Facebook on Rauf Denktaş Turkish School, or through our Instagram. We want to gauge the interest and in turn cater towards that. So I myself, my conversational Turkish is fine, is great. I'm an accountant, so I know the technical words in accountancy. However, there's things that I need to brush up on myself. So there will be a lot of different levels. So anything, we hope to, as long as we can get the numbers from absolutely not knowing any Turkish to, you know, people just wanting to brush up on their professional language.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, what kind of support would you like to see from our community?
Well, from our community, what we'd like to see is just to give the online lessons a try. I know it's daunting, it's not the same as before, you haven't got that sense of community, but by continuing your child's education in Turkish school online, you're allowing Turkish schools to be able to stay alive and continue after the pandemic. And as I said before, I believe the Turkish schools are one of the greatest pillars of our community. So to see any Turkish school fail would be devastating. So by parents, you know, just taking that step to try online. We offer free taster lessons, and previously we used to have a policy of having to pay a year's upfront registration fee, which also I believe put a lot of parents off because they didn't want to pay that fee, not knowing whether it's going to be online or if it's going to be face to face. However, by allowing parents to pay as you go, that's one of the things that we want to introduce.
How much would that work out to be?
This is something that we need to discuss with the committee first of all. You could calculate the rent and the teachers' fees and make it feasible. As I said, we are a charity. We're not there to make profit, but we obviously need funds to be able to function. So, our registration fee at the moment is £120 per year, which, in my opinion, is a very good deal. But obviously, there are people that aren't in a position to be able to pay that. So, probably don't hold me to this because I need to have a discussion with the committee. We all need to agree, but something along the lines of £7 a week, or maybe if you have multiple children, a discount on that. But this is something that would work with the committee and gauge the interest from our members also. But it gives you that chance to be able to not have to pay a lump sum up front and be able to pay as you go. And I hope that would encourage people to, katılasınlar, to join the Turkish lessons online, with the hope of in the near future, hopefully soon, we will be able to open our doors. But as I said before, our teachers are excellent, and the quality of teaching is not compromised online. The only thing that is compromised is the ortam, the atmosphere and that sense of community. But the most important thing is the education. We do GCSE, A level. So in that regards, the education part is not compromised at all. I have full confidence in my teachers that they deliver quality and excellent education online. The only thing, as I said, is compromised is the atmosphere, and it's not the same. But by making that little effort, an hour or two on a Saturday online, you're allowing the Turkish schools to continue to operate further down the line.
Yeah, and from what you're telling me, it's going to be the cost of like 2 or 3 coffees a week. You just cut down on that and you got the class. So it's a very reasonable charge.
It certainly is.
To keep that service alive.
And what I wanted
thank you very much.
That's what. Thank you.
And to our viewers, for the benefit of the Turkish speakers, or those who are more confident in Turkish language, we're going to switch to Turkish now with our respected guest Meryem Biricik. Merhaba sayın seyirciler, bugünkü konuğumuz Rauf Denktaş Türk Okulu'nun okul koordinatörü Meryem Biricik hanımefendiler. Buyurun Meryem Hanım, nasılsınız? Merhaba.
Merhabalar, iyi, teşekkürler. Siz nasılsınız?
Çok şükür, çok şükür. İlk soruma soracaktım. Okulumuz hakkında bizlere bilgi verebilir misiniz?
Tabii ki. Okulumuz cumartesi günleri 10 ile 1 arasında faaliyet gösteren bir kurumdur. Güney Londra'dadır okulumuz. Okulumuz ana sınıfından tutun da GCSE A-Level'larına kadar oluşan sınıflarımız vardır. Yani 4-5 yaşın arasında ana sınıftan başlayıp artık A-Level, GCSE'lerini yapana kadar bizimle beraberdir öğrencilerimiz. Şu an okulumuzda 7 tane öğretmenimiz var. 3'ü devlet öğretmenimizdir, devletten görevlendirilen. 4 tanesi de okulumuzun kendi ücretli öğretmenleridir. Öğretmenlerimizin her biri tecrübeli, ayrı ayrı tecrübeli, sınıflarında başarılı, yani mükemmel öğretmenlerimiz vardır. Ve sınıflarımızda işlediğimiz derslerimizin hepsi de bakanlığımız tarafından duyurulan müfredatlara uygun olarak bir şekilde hazırlanıp çocuklarımıza aktarılır. Yani bu şekilde okulumuz öyle.
Güzel. Ve nasıl ulaşabilirler? Yani hangi semttedir? Güney Londra dediğinizde.
Blackfen bölgesindedir okulumuz.
Blackfen bölgesinde.
Evet.
Peki
Orada,
ve sizinle ulaşabilmek için okulunuzda?
Facebook'umuzdan, Instagram sayfamızdan bizlere ulaşabilirler. Orada adreslerimiz, telefon numaralarımız, her şey, e-maillerimiz, her şey vardır. Bize oradan her şekilde ulaşabilirler. Kayıt yaptırmak için, gelip görmek için. Tabii şu an pandemiden dolayı okulumuz kapalı ama yani online
Tabii.
derslerimiz var. Online derslerimize misafir olarak katılabilirler yazılmadan önce. Nasıl olduğunu bir görmek için. Çünkü yani evet online tabii ki velilerimiz yüz yüze tercih ediyorlar. Haklı olarak da yani kesinlikle yüz yüze eğitimin yerine hiçbir şey alamaz ama online derslerimizde öğretmenlerimiz çok güzel hazırlanıyorlar. Yani nasıl diyeyim size, yani bütün PowerPoint'lerinden tutun da aktivitelerine kadar yani her şekilde mükemmel bir şekilde hazırlıyorlar dersleri. Bu yüzden yani tüm herkese katılmalarını, bir misafir olarak bir ziyaret etmelerini tavsiye ederim yani. Memnun kalıp yazılacaklarından eminim yani.
Tabii. Eminim ki çoğu izleyenler Türk okulunun görevinin tam olarak ne olduğunu biliyorlar ama bazıları vardı belki Kıbrıs'ta ya da İngiltere'ye yeni gelenler. Yani hafta içi devlet okulu var 5 gün.
Evet.
Yani ama Türk okulu dediğimizde ne demek isteriz? Yani Türk okulunun görevi ya da amacı nedir?
Şimdi Londra Türk Dili ve Kültürü okullarının amacı ana dilimiz olan güzel Türkçemizi çocuklarımıza doğru ve etkili bir şekilde öğretmek tabii ki. Çocuklarımıza milli kültürümüzü, örf ve adetlerimizi, bütün geleneklerimizi, örneğin yani bayramlarımız olsun, yani anma törenlerimiz olsun, hep bunları çocuklarımıza öğretmek, kendi dilimizi yani bütün kültürümüzü güzelce onlara öğretmek yani amacımız o Türk okullarında. Ve bunu da yani dediğim gibi size yani küçükten büyüğe kadar tutun her bir öğrencimize sadece yani ders yapmıyoruz yani okullarımızda törenlerimiz oluyor. Törenlerde çocuklar birçok şeyleri öğreniyorlar. Yani çok faydalı çocuklarımızın geleceğimiz yani burada yaşıyoruz İngiltere'de vatanımızdan uzakta hepimiz. Bu çocuklarımız için çok büyük bir olanak Türk okulları. Tabii ki velilerimiz için de aynı zamanda çünkü çoğu velilerimiz çocuklarını okula getiriyorlar ve orada oturuyorlar genelde. Birbirleriyle kaynaşıyorlar, sohbet ediyorlar. Yani sadece çocuklarımız için değil bu yüzden yani. Toplumumuz için güzel bir şey yani. Birlik ve beraberlikte çalışmak, beraber olmak için güzel bir yer Türk okulları.
Tabii yani toplumun birliği için, beraberliği için
Kesinlikle yani.
önemli bir hizmettir. Ve sizin anlattığınıza göre Türkiye'de veya Kuzey Kıbrıs Türk Cumhuriyeti'nden pek farkı yoktu. Yani haftada bir gün olduğuna rağmen aynı adetlerini, aynı tatillerini kutluyorsunuz.
Evet tabii
Yani
ki
pek
evet.
fark yok.
Evet yok yani kesinlikle yani her hafta mesela ay içerisinde de olduğunda mesela bir özel günü olduğunda mutlaka o hafta işlenir yani o törenimiz yapılır yani. Şu an online olduğu halde yine online'da bile o törenlerimiz yapılır. Normal okuldaymışız gibi dersimize andımız ve İstiklal Marşımızla başlarız. Yani bir Kıbrıs'ta, Türkiye'de olan bir okuldaki olduğu gibi o şekilde yani törenlerimizi yaparız. Çocuklar katılır, şiirler okurlar, etkinlikler düzenlerler yani o şekilde yani ve böylece öğrenir yani çocuklarımız geleneğimizi, kültürümüzü, dilimizi.
Çok güzel. Peki pandemi süreci okulunuzu nasıl etkiledi? Yani ne gibi değişiklikler yapmak zorunda kaldınız? Olumlu veya olumsuz olabilir.
Maalesef en büyük ve olumsuz bizi etkileyen okulumuzun kapanması oldu. Okulumuzun
Tabii.
kapanması yani yüz yüze eğitimi durdurdu maalesef ve bu da çoğu velileri bir nebze olsun geriye attı. Yani kayıt yaptırmakta tereddüt etti velilerimiz. Çünkü online derslerinin nasıl olup olmayacağından pek emin değillerdi. Ve Erdem Bey'in de bahsettiği gibi Web TV ile başladık. Fakat biraz sorunlar yaşadık orada. Yani bağlantı falan pek güzel olmadığı için yani birkaç geriye çekilen velilerimiz oldu. Bu dolayısıyla bu da yayılır yani toplumun arasında bu konuşulur, yayılır ve bu birazcık ters etki oldu bizim için. Bu yüzden şu an işte başka platformlara başvurmaya başladık ve gayet güzel gidiyor yani. Yani onun dışında yani işte okulumuzdan uzak olduk ama tek dediğim gibi yani online'da da derslerimizi sürdürmeye çalışırız. İnşallah kayıtlarımız da artarsa çünkü bu kayıtlarımızın düşük olması da okulumuzu doğal olarak bütçesini etkiliyor. Bildiğiniz gibi charity okulu olduğu için Türk okulları.
Evet.
Yani okulda olmayınca kantinimizden gelirimiz olmuyor. Kayıtlarımız da az olunca bu da otomatikman okullarımızı etkiliyor. Bu yüzden yani tüm yani velilere burada sesleniyoruz yani okullarımızı destekleyelim. Bütün Türk okullarını yani destekleyelim. Bunlar çocuklarımız için çok önemli kurumlar.
Yani aslında velilerin anlaması lazım. Çünkü birçok veli yani evden çalışıyor artık bu süre içinde. Alışmaları lazım. Yani madem evde çalışabiliriz, okullarda neden olmasın online?
Aynen kesinlikle yani dediğim gibi size yani öğretmenlerimiz çok güzel bir şekilde hazırlanırlar. Bir hafta öncesinden yapılacak olan tüm etkinlikleri, ders programlarını velilerimize hep iletiriz. Yine aynı şekilde ödevlerini alır çocuklar. Ödevlerini yapıp tekrar öğretmenlerimize yollarlar kontrol etmek için. Yani aynı şekilde hep yani ilerletmeye çalışırız yani okuldaymışız gibi. Tek farkı işte yüz yüze bu şekilde yani
Evet,
görüşüyoruz
pek
yani.
güzel. Pek güzel.
Evet.
Sizce Türk okulları yeterince destek görüyor mu?
Şu bakımdan söyleyeyim yani mesela devletin dediğim gibi bahsettiğim görevli öğretmenlerimiz var. Kuzey Kıbrıs Türk Cumhuriyeti'nden her yıl bize 2 öğretmen gönderiliyor. Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nden bir öğretmen gönderiliyor her yıl. Ve yani ellerinden gelen destekleri yapıyor yani müşavirliklerimiz falan bize
Evet.
ama daha iyi, daha fazlasına ihtiyacımız var. Okullarımızı sürdürebilmek için bildiğiniz gibi dediğimiz gibi charity okulları olduğu için yani daha çok okullarımızı geliştirebilmemiz için daha çok yardımlara ihtiyaçlarımız var. Mesela kitap eksikliklerimiz oluyor. Kitaplarımız Erdem Bey'de bahsettiği gibi yani sorun olur her yıl. O yüzden yani onlarda birazcık daha yardım ve destek bekliyoruz kendilerinden. Onun dışında velilerimizden biraz önce bahsettiğimiz gibi onlardan da daha çok destek bekliyoruz. Bizleri desteklemeleri, okulları, tüm Türk okullarını yani sadece bizim okulumuzu değil, bütün okulları desteklemeleri toplumumuz için iyi olur.
Evet, aynen. Ve yani dediğim Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nden ve Kuzey Kıbrıs Türk Cumhuriyeti'nden destek alıyorsunuz. Ama yani bu ülkede Kıbrıs asıllı Türklerden bahsedersek sadece 300 bin civarında bir toplumdan bahsediyoruz. Yani Türkiye'den gelenler Türkler de var. Yani
Tabii.
buna göre artık yani toplumumuzdan nasıl bir mesajın var mı? Fazla destek mi bekliyorsunuz yani toplumumuzdan yani az bir rakam değil yani 300 bin Kıbrıs asıllı Türk yani sonuçta İngiltere'de.
Aynen kesinlikle dediğiniz gibi ve yani o sayıya bakıldığı zaman okullara katılım çok az. Ve yani daha çok olmasını diliyoruz bu katılımın. Yani çocuklarını okullara getirmelerini, onlara yani İngiltere'de yaşayabiliriz fakat yani kendi dilimizi unutmamalıyız, kendi kültürümüzü
Evet.
unutmamalıyız. Bunları çocuklarımıza öğretmeliyiz ve nasıl ileride bunlar GCSE'lerinde de çocuklarımıza Türkçe dersleri çok bulunacak. Bu yüzden yani kesinlikle yani hepsini davet ediyorum yani gelin, deneyin, çocuklarınızı getirin, siz de gelin yani bir çevre edinmiş olur velilerimiz de toplum için gayet güzel olanaklar yani Türk okulları diyorum.
Aynen, aynen. Şimdi yani çok teşekkür ederim Meryem Hanım katıldığınız için.
Biz
Ee,
teşekkür ederiz misafir ettiğiniz.
Rica ederim. Şimdi sayın seyirciler duyduğunuz gibi fazla Türk okullar yoktu. Zor durum yaşıyordular zaten pandemi olmadan bile sayılarınız azalıyor bildiğim kadarıyla son kaç sene içinde, 10
Evet.
sene mi?
Yani daha katılan Türk okullarımız, kapanan Türk okullarımız da oldu. Yani bu yüzden yani okullarımızda ayakta tutmak için yani tüm velilerimize, tüm halkımıza seslenmeden yardımlarına ihtiyaçlarımız vardır. Bizleri desteklemeleri için yani bu bizim toplumumuzun için güzel bir şey yani bunu ayakta tutmak gerek yani herkesin desteğiyle.
Kesinlikle.
Evet. Ve sonuna geliyoruz. Yine ulaşabilmek için irtibat bilgilerinizi verebilir misiniz acaba? Ya da Facebook'tan ya da sosyal medya e-mail adresiniz varsa.
Yeah. So our email address is contact@raufdenktashturkishschool.co.uk. Our Facebook is, if you search for Rauf Denktaş Turkish School, we have a page that you can message us directly on, and I'll just give you the Instagram handle, which is Rauf_Denktaş_Turkish School.
Excellent.
And
So,
we have our phone number as well. I do apologise.
yes, please.
1 second.
Gibi web sitelerimize de girip yani yaptığımız etkinlikleri, törenleri, her şeyi bir bakabilirler, görebilirler.
So whilst Erdem Bey is looking for the contact number, I just want to reiterate what me and Meryem Hanım spoke about in Turkish. And we stated about how there's anything around 300,000 people of Turkish ethnicity originating from Cyprus. That's not including Turks from Turkey or from other areas such as Bulgaria or other countries. And we've been here for many decades now. And although we do get support from the Turkish Republic and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, obviously it's not going to be enough. We need support from the local community. Both Erdem Bey and Meryem Hanım said that the Turkish school doesn't just function as a support basis for teaching Turkish language to our youngsters, but it's also community based as well. And for our community to continue, the Turkish schools really need our support as well to function further. And yes, before we finish, Erdem Bey, was you able to find the number for your school?
Yes, I was. It's 07389 815 004. You can drop us a message on WhatsApp, text us, or call if it's more convenient for you. If obviously we all work full time, if we can't answer your call, we will get back to you as soon as possible. Our next lesson is actually tomorrow. For anyone wanting to try, please do drop us a message and we can facilitate you to have a trial lesson for the following Saturday.
Wow.
And
That's
we're
a great
open from
opportunity.
age groups, from age 4 until 16.
Okay.
Yeah. And
But you
anyone
also
wanting
offer
to do
adult
A
classes
levels
as well,
or
as you said.
yeah, we will be offering adult classes, but what we need from everybody watching in our wider community is just to register your interest with us. We have put a few posts on the Facebook, as well as the many Turkish Cypriot Facebook groups, such as Konsey, Turkish Cypriots Worldwide, Kıbrıslı Worldwide, everywhere where we can communicate with our community in London. We've advertised on there for people to register their interest, and we'll do another post as well. But if it is something that people are interested in, please do register your interest with us. That's the only way that we'll be able to progress, engage the amount of people there is and the levels, and be able to work out an arrangement to teach adults as well online. And it obviously will work around people's times as well, so it could be evening. And we also invited our Turkish Cypriot community worldwide. So Australia, there's a massive Turkish Cypriot population. So when it's online and adult lessons, we can do it globally and at a relatively very low cost.
That's a nice positive ending there. Erdem Bey, where there's
Thank you.
obviously there's obstacles because of the pandemic, but there's also opportunity, and the community
definitely.
spirit that you had in South London can be expanded to the global Turkish Cypriot diaspora. That's an excellent note to end on. I thank you both again for coming on,
Thank you very much for having us.
and that's it, the end of another show for the Voice of the Diaspora, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you.